So I am joined by Greta and Manu Schnetzler, who I've known for quite some time now, photographers who do a lot of work around San Francisco, a lot of really great images in and around on the water of San Francisco. We're going to see some of those images that you guys do, but we're going to spend the first half of the show talking about the community, about ArtSpan in the Open Studios, which is going to be starting shortly. So we've got 4 weekends where you can go to artist studios, and it'll start actually kind of start September 19th, because there's going to be a reception that we'll talk about in a moment. But then we go around San Francisco. So the first weekend will be kind of the western part of the city. And then weekend 2 is going to be closer to Potrero Hill in the Mission District. And I can mention a few people that I'm looking forward to seeing there. The third weekend is going to be kind of the northern part of San Francisco. Fourth weekend is going to be, well, Greta and Manu's studio is part of all that. It's going to be kind of Dog Patch and also parts of Potrero Hill. And then the last weekend is at the naval shipyards. And these are all, there's great places to visit there. But Greta, let's talk about this. So there's going to be at the main gallery, 934 Brennan Street, south of Market. What would people experience when they go to that place?
So full disclosure, I'll say I'm a board member, an artist board member of ArtSpan, and have served on the board. I'm currently serving as treasurer of the board. And we have, like many nonprofit agencies and arts organizations, been struggling since the pandemic, but we're holding in there. And this is the 51st SF Open Studios event under the auspices of ArtSpan, which is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. We rely on donations and membership fees, and anyone can join ArtSpan. We have a category called Art Lovers. It's only $100 a year, and you get invited to all kinds of fun events. And it's really cool to be an art lover, and you just get to learn a lot more about artists and working in San Francisco and the Bay Area. So the upcoming art launch event is at Somarts at 9th and Brannan in the big gallery, and there'll be over 300 artists represented. Each one will have one piece in that show. And then they organize the exhibit there by weekends. So there are 5 weekends of Open Studio this weekend in different neighborhoods every weekend. And they will organize those, and you can go and see which artists are participating on which weekend, figure out which ones you want to see. And the Somarts building is ADA accessible. It's a wonderful place to see the whole breadth of the types of art that you can see during the Open Studios weekends. And it's a wonderful place to start, or even just have your only contact with Open Studios be that exhibit. You would still see a lot of amazing art. And if you come to the opening event on the 19th, you'll meet a lot of the artists who will be wearing artist name badges, and you'll get to say hello and ask them about their work. And then there's some more events coming up around the exhibit. There will be an event called Art Tasting, where professional gallery owners and people who work in museums actually choose artists and give awards to the art that they find to be the most compelling. And so they have an event called Art Tasting, where you actually get to hear from the artists about their work who were chosen as the best in the show. So there are a lot of events coming up, and over this 5-week period that we call Open Studios season, including our 2 Open Studios. We're really excited about one at the end of this month, the 27th and 28th, and one October 11th and 12th.
You're muted, Rodney.
We'll talk about that in a moment. I just want to say that I've always really enjoyed going to this Soma Arts gathering, because I'm just a big believer that you don't have to like all the art you see. You're going to look at art, and some of it's going to speak to you, and some of it probably isn't. And when you go to something where you get to see 300 different artists, it gives you a sense of, oh, okay, here's the stuff that really draws me in. and then you can make note of that and plan to go to their studio and see a lot more of their works. So I've been doing that for a while. Let's talk about some of these places that you can go during the Open Studios. I'm going to skip to weekend 4 because that's when we get to go to your gallery. So you're at 1777 Yosemite with Emily Dash, who we also did a program with last year. And one of the things I like about your location is there's about a dozen or 20 different
We'll
artists.
have 20 this year, which is the most artists we've had showing at Yosemite Place in a long time, I think, maybe ever. And so we're really excited to have so many artists participating this year. And it's a wide variety from glass art to painting, ceramics, printmaking, photography, really sculpture, very, very exciting. So we're really looking forward to participating with all of our fellow artists in the building. It's great for us too to get to create a little community around our building.
Yeah, and Emily Dash, it just so happens that her family are winemakers, and there could possibly be some of their wine at the
There will be. I'm
will be some
looking
wine.
at a case of their wine right now that we will be popping those corks at the event. And they have also, the Dash family has donated some wine for the art launch event as well for ArtSpan.
So that's going on. Also, a little closer to Soma, at 7th and Townsend is the Room and Board. It's actually a furniture store, but Gerard Boulong is going to be one of about a dozen artists that I think that's showing there. And he's actually going to be our guest on Art Viewing Adventures in 2 weeks. He'll be showing, he's done a lot of really interesting new stuff, but tell us about Room and Board and like that relationship with ArtSpan.
Yeah, that came about because of one of the people who works at Room and Board was going around to open studios at one of the years and decided that it would be great to host some artists at the Room and Board building. Room and Board sells really nice furniture and accessories for the home. And so she had an interest in curating. And so she invited artists to submit and chose artists. And they just, the really cool thing about it is they display their work right in the settings with all the furniture. So you can actually see what it would look like in a home setting, which is really nice. And it's just beautifully done. They put on a really beautiful reception as well for their artists. They have refreshments and snacks all weekend long, I think. And it's really nicely done. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and it's a comfortable place. So you can be sitting on like some fancy couch.
Yeah, yeah,
art
it's really
class.
fun to look around there.
And Gerard's fun to talk to. So I'm definitely going to be stopping by that. So I already have lots of weekend 4 plans. And then let's go to weekend 2 a little bit earlier. But there's another person we've done programs with, Sarah Newton, is at 1890 Bryant. And 1890 Bryant is a building with, I think it might have like 80 artists or some really large number of artists.
It's a huge number of artists, and then they invite in some guest artists in some of the common spaces for open studios. So I think there can be upwards of 90 artists showing for an open studio. So I don't know how many this year are registered there, but it's always a lot. And if you have an artist you really want to see, start on their floor so you don't get visual overload before you get to them. We love Sarah's work. We have some of her work. I highly recommend her. Her drawings are beautiful. And she has a lot of stuff on the Bay Trail, Rodney.
Well, when we talk about your stuff, you guys do a lot of great Bay imagery too. And, yeah, so that's one I'm going to be looking at. Also very nearby is 744 Alabama in Cecilia Lusvan in Bussy Parker Keogh. We did a program with them a couple of years ago, I think.
Recording is not. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I mean, one thing that I like are like your building and these other buildings that do have a lot of different artists in them. And I'd say both weekend 2 and weekend 4 are full of places like that. And I don't want to shortchange the other weekends, but it just seems like those are optimal times to go see a lot of different artists.
Yeah, and there are a lot of places that are very close together, but I do encourage people to get out to some of the, you know, more far-flung neighborhoods and kind of where, and check out some artists that are just showing in their home studio or their garage or their garden. It's really fun to discover new art like that. We always get surprised and find someone that we really, you know, unexpected, hadn't seen before.
Oh,
If
and
you've been going for a while, it's really good to seek out new artists.
And then I did mention it, but weekend two, there will also be at the Analog Gallery, which is very close to the 24th Street Art Station on Cap Street. And I know you guys will be showing at that. And
Yeah, there'll be 4 artists there showing together. 2 of our friends are showing also kind of photo-based work, but mixed media as well, collage. Our friend Paul does collage, and our friend Danny does some interesting in-camera multiple exposure work. And so it's a very interesting mix of stuff. So we're looking forward to showing with them again. We did show with them a couple years ago there, and it was really a nice place to show.
And it's ADA accessible. It's got a ramp from the street that isn't too steep. So if you are using a mobility device, that should be pretty easy to get into. And
It's basically a garage.
And it's espresso served there as well.
Yeah, they have a great espresso machine.
Just like a really nice place. I thought maybe we could take a little time. I'm going to stop sharing this and look at. So once you go and find out about artists you want to see, you can go and look at the website for ArtSpan. Let me find that, and let's kind of navigate that a little bit together. If I can, let's see. Here's Google Chrome, and let's go to artspan.org. If you go to artspan.org, you will have a bunch of options, but one of them says Sept Open Studios, or you can view the Open Studios guide. And we've got like weekend maps here. So we already talked about these 5 weekends, but maybe let's go navigate to you guys on weekend 4, just so people can see how it's done. And it's going to give you an interactive map. I think I can zoom in and find you guys down here. Am I right? Am I looking
For the south?
For the south, yeah, I think we're pretty much the furthest.
Oh, right. Okay, there you are.
We're the Bay. Yeah.
No, to the left. Yeah, that's
Yosemite Place.
There you go.
There you go.
So if I click on that, I'm going to see listings at this location, and we're going to see like Emily Dash, who we did the program with, bunch of other.
Jim Burnett on the upper right is showing with us in the studio here.
And his wife, Carolyn LeGrand Burnett. So we have 2 husband-wife couples showing together in our studio for Open Studios this year. They're our guest artists.
How many other couples do you think there are that make art together?
There are a few.
Well, they don't make art together.
They make separate.
separate.
He's a photographer and she does textile-based work.
She does, so she's doing tech, oh right, fiber, he does photography. Let's
Yeah.
go take a look at his stuff. So you kind of get a good sense of what their art looks like. Looks like a lot of San Francisco images.
He likes those collages of many images in one.
Oh, so this is one work.
Yeah, so he puts together images kind of from one neighborhood or of one type.
And
He does a really cool printing technique where he prints on vellum, which is a very thin, almost transparent paper, which gives his photos a really a different look.
And how many different works will he have on view approximately?
We don't know exactly. We're still planning the layout, but they'll have several walls and we'll have several walls. So
And
we show down the hallway
down the
too.
hall as
So
well.
there's a lot of space that we have to use to show.
So, and then if I like have an artist that I'm interested in, I know I can like click on artists and it's going to give me like a bunch of, I think you can view more artists and get, I think you get like,
Yeah, when you click on there, you're gonna get a little artist statement about their work and then usually there will be their Instagram or other social media presence, as well as any website that they might have where you can see other images of their work. You know, for us, our Instagram is a great place to see like what we've been posting lately. Manu posts a lot of his photos from his kayaking trips on the bay on there. And I'll usually post some works in progress of the gold leaf on there from time to time. So it's a great way to see kind of a little more about the artists and to link up to more images that they have of their work. So you get a broader thing. So even if you can't make it out to Open Studios to be there in person, you can kind of do your own tour online by going to each artist whose work you see in the guide that you like and clicking, learning more about them, and then clicking on their social media links or their website links to see more images by them.
yeah, and this is Gerard who will be doing in 2 weeks.
Very nice. He's a painter.
He starts with photographs and then he paints kind of on top and kind of and it's got a lot of texture to it. You know, it's kind of, he has his own kind of self-invented process.
That is really cool. It looks really great. I hope we're showing that same weekend, so I don't know if I'll get to see his work, but I will definitely go online and check out his work.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun, and he is a fellow former SF MoMA museum guide. That's
Oh,
how,
great. That's how you know him. Well,
yeah.
his work looks really interesting. You know, we love images that have to do with the natural world, especially. And so that really appeals to me.
Some of them, I don't know if the ones here, but he's done a lot over the years that are in the Bay Area, and he actually will include them like on a map where exactly. Like we have one of his works, and it was done at the so pretty cool. Do you guys have another artist that you like would like me to like pull up?
Oh my goodness, so many.
Are we putting you on the spot? I know like you can't pick favorites because you're on the
Yeah, so
maybe Manu can.
Pep Ventosa is a photographer. We really like his work as well. He's at the shipyard.
Oh, what's his name? What's his first name?
P-E-P.
Pep Ventosa.
And these all seem to be
right there. I just saw him on the left, upper left there.
Right there with the Golden Gate Bridge.
So he does work by combining multiple photos of the same subject by moving around, or he's got a whole series where he has trees and he moves around the trees and then layers all the photos together. It's really nice work.
Oh, I think we're gonna have to go talk. Look at that. That's a SF MoMA. That is is the Mark Rothko at SF MoMA.
Yeah.
Instantly recognizable if you know the museum.
And he's taken a kind of an extended exposure there, so the people moving through looking at the piece are like ghost images, which is really cool.
Oh, I love it. This is like the Louvre, I suppose.
Yeah. So yeah, we have one of his, that's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it looks like it's moving. It's very cool.
Wow, so there you go. I think I'm gonna have to put him on my radar.
And then on the left there, you'll see is his Instagram and Facebook links, so you can go visit him on Instagram and see a whole lot more of his work.
Oh, I have to log in, otherwise I can, if I log in, then I can follow him.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a great way to get familiar with the artist's work, or to see artists that you don't have time to go see during Open Studios.
Let me, I could do a quickie login.
And I can do a shout out. I would really encourage everybody to, in the guide, we have an equity awards for artists, where artists submit to be chosen and they get their expenses paid for participating in Open Studios. And we do that every year to try to bring in more artists who haven't shown before, or who are coming from communities, underrepresented communities. And so including the disabled community, senior artists, artists of from different cultural backgrounds. And that is one of my favorite programs that ArtSpan does. And so I always encourage people to go out and see the Equity Award winning artists and wherever they're showing. And so there's a listing of the Equity Award winners in the front of the guide. I think the physical guide, I don't know where it is on the online guide.
I think they do have the physical guide here. So maybe we can try to find that. Do you know what page?
I've got the guide, the actual book in front of me.
Well, I mean, one of the things that you and I have talked about is we need to talk to some of these artists that live with disabilities and invite them to come on Art Viewing Adventures.
That would be great. I think ArtSpan would love that.
I think Art Viewing Adventures would love that. So it sounds like a win-win. And we've seen so many great artworks from disabled artists in the Bay Area.
It's page 35 of the guide.
I think I can
the recipients this year are Brooklyn Borchardt, Edward Gonzalez Aparicio, Ray Gonzalez, Lena Lee, Andrew Pick, Ria Sharma, and Taylor Spivey, and their various weekends during the open studios in various locations. So I always encourage people to go out and see these folks. For many of them, it's the very first time they're participating in open studios, and they're just starting out as artists and trying to professionalize and get their career going. And so it just makes them so happy when people come and engage with them and talk about their work.
All right, so I need to put them on my radar for sure. And you can see, you got the locations here. And is there more on the subsequent pages, or is it?
No, that's the page for the equity grant.
And this is what we're looking at is the online version of the printed guide. There is a printed guide that Greta's holding, and if you were to go to the Brannan Street location that we were talking about, that they'll be there. There's a whole bunch of different places that have the paper guides
all around town. Yeah, you can definitely get copies of it. And each of those artists that are listed there will be listed. They'll be listed in the guide with a photo of their work and a link, so you can link to their social media and everything in the online guide. So all you have to do is look at their name and look them up in the directory and find their listing in the guide, and then you can access their social media and look at their work and get familiar with their work before you go visit them.
Yeah, and I see it says here like what weekend they're showing. Would most of them be also in the Brannan Street Gallery?
Yes. Part of their award includes participation in that show. So most of them will be represented in that show.
Yeah, and that is again 934 Brennan Street, which is kind of right underneath the highways, where you can go and see 300 different artists, as we said earlier.
Opening on the 19th, called Art Launch, and then after that it will be open every weekend and sometimes during the week for visits. There should be a schedule online of when it'll be open, but it's generally open, so you can come in and check it out. And a lot of people start their open studios tours by visiting there and picking out the artists they want to go visit in their studios.
Yeah, I know they have like events here, and the first one on there is this September 19th event, the launch. And there's a cost to get in, but if you become a member, then that gets waived. So you can kind of see all that here. Let me just ask though, like why is Open Studios important for the artist community, Greta?
So ArtSpan Open Studios is the signature event of ArtSpan, but it's not all that ArtSpan does. So ArtSpan helps support artists all through the years by helping them professionalize their practice of art and also helping them be able to find places to exhibit their art. So we do a program called Art in Neighborhoods, which puts up, we bring art into the neighborhoods of San Francisco, some of which may not have a lot of access to galleries and other types of art exhibits. And so we activate vacant spaces and bring art into businesses that are open to partnering with ArtSpan. And we do a lot of programs for artists to professionalize their practice, help them learn how to market themselves, how to present their work to galleries, how to price their work, what curators are looking for, all of that so that they can learn. We also have programs for people who want to collect art, to learn how to collect art, what it means to start a collection. It's very personal. We have gallerists and curators from museums who come and give talks. So it's very interesting, and we do a lot of that. The reason it's so important is it's really hard for artists to make it in San Francisco with rents and housing costing as much as they are. So ArtSpan is trying to keep the arts thriving in San Francisco. And the best way we can do that is by supporting artists year round and helping them be able to make money from their art and market their art. And for many San Francisco artists, their Open Studios event is their single biggest moneymaker of the year. So it's really important for a lot of artists. So it was really hard during the pandemic when we couldn't do in-person Open Studios. We tried to do a lot more virtual events to help artists market their work, but there's nothing like going and engaging in person with the artists, as you know, Rodney.
Yeah, well, let me talk about that. I remember I've been going to Open Studios for many, many years, and I remember going to one, like, it must have been 20 years ago. I went to Fort Mason, and there was a ton of artists in there, and I found these great night photographers, and I loved them. I ended up buying one of the works from a photographer, but I also saw your work, and I didn't even know you guys. And it wasn't until years later when I met you that I realized I'd seen your work back then, and it totally stuck with me. So I think it's just like it's really important for the artists, but it's also important for those of us who like engaging with art.
And you saw our art, and we developed a friendship, and then eventually you saw the piece that you wanted to have in your home, and that we were delighted, and that was just really great. And that's what we find a lot of times. We form a relationship, and then before someone becomes a collector, but people, if the art really sticks with them, they keep coming back, and eventually they go, oh, I've got to have that. Or sometimes they come back and say, I saw this last year and I haven't forgotten about it, and I know I need to have it at home.
Yeah, it's really nice to know the artists that have created the artworks that you look at in your home, and to understand like where they're coming from. And so I think, speaking of that, maybe it's time for us to move on and look at your art, your most recent works. We've had you on the show before, but you guys have been busy. You're doing new things. Am I showing the slides, or
We've got it, I think, now. If we can.
I probably will need to share from my other, but it says only the host can share on this meeting.
So they're going to bring up, just to recap what we've done previously. We looked at a lot of your work that had been done, a lot of the night photography that you've done over the years, a lot of stuff on the Bay. And then more recently, Greta's been doing this mixed media work that we're going to be seeing. And so you guys have continued doing that. And we've got some new works to look at. Let's see, we are seeing, there we go. You see your desktop.
See my desktop. Now let me see if I can pull up there we go. Can you see?
There we go.
Okay, wonderful.
Well, why don't you guys take us through what's new with you?
So this says we've collaborated for more than 20 years, but actually it is almost 30 years at this point.
Yes.
We're getting very close. to 30 years of taking images, creating images together. And of course, Rodney, as you said, you first became introduced to us through our night photography and nature photography. And Manu has been doing a lot of very early morning kayaking, much earlier than I can get up to go with him. Sometimes, usually before daylight, during the times when the days are a little shorter. He's out there on the bay, seeing the sunrise on the bay, seeing the wildlife and the birds and the big ships. And that's been a really popular and impactful body of work that he's created, and very much loved by people, because people love the local images of the San Francisco Bay and all of our iconic landmarks. So that's been really good. And then I've been doing, started doing, creating images that we are printing on gold leaf. So we each of us take images, we take images together, we curate the images we're going to present in this way, and then I prepare the paper, which is a fine art paper called Arches Platine, and I gild it with gold leaf or silver leaf. Some of the smaller pieces are actual 24 karat gold. The others are more like a gold filled or a composite gold. So these are what the little leaves of gold look like.
Wow.
They're very thin and very fragile. And they're, so they're, can you see that? Are you seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
So
you work with that, and if you make a mistake, is it like you have to start over, or what's?
it's fairly forgiving, you know, gold, 24 karat gold, especially super soft. So you overlap the pieces and then you burnish it using a brush like this. We burnish after it's on there. Use an adhesive that's called sizing, and you brush that onto the paper, and then you put the gold leaf down and it sticks to it. You let it dry, and then it's burnished using a very soft brush that's special for that purpose, and then a very soft cloth, and you just shine it and burnish it out, and little tiny flakes come off, and then it gets smoother. And if you have missed a spot or something didn't adhere, you can easily put more over it and burnish it again until you get the finish nice and even. There's texture because you get brush marks of where you put the sizing product on. And then after we get the gold on the paper, then we coat with a special coating. And then we're able to print. Once that dries, we're able to print in the digital printer. So these are printed with a digital image in the inkjet printer onto this special coating with the gold leaf underneath on the paper. And then this one that Manu's showing right now then was mounted on a wooden block and varnished after that. So all archival products, and it just creates a lot of layers and texture and almost a three-dimensional look that we really like.
Yeah, it's almost it's a pretty historic. I mean, they used to do a lot of photography in the 19th century onto metal, right?
Well, using metal plates and tin types and those kinds of different processes. So this is reminiscent of that. It's also using, you know, it's using hand gilding, which is an ancient technique, not just for, well, not for photography as much, but it was used, you know, in creating images like icons, religious icons. The hand gilding was used, and you know, then later on in other types of painted images and on furniture and statues and other, you know, architectural elements in buildings and things like that. So I love that it's such an ancient technique, and I've loved learning about it and trying to master it as I'm doing it on paper.
It's like both ancient and modern at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I love the mix with the digital and the really hands-on, hand-created techniques.
And Manu, do you play like these images start with you? Do you like, what is it? Is this something you're involved in too?
Yeah, I mean, taking the photos and selecting and editing the photos, we work together on that. And then most of the manual hands-on work is Greta, and then I kind of take over when it goes to printing the image on the gold. And then it's back to Greta for finishing work, and then sometimes I help Matt or frame or mount. So this goes back and forth, and some parts we work together on.
So yeah, we he knows how many hours I put in to prepare the paper. So he's very nervous when he has to print to try to make sure he gets it exactly right.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, like artists that really have a strong collaboration, because so many in the art world, visual arts, it's usually singular artists. You know, it's usually not, there's not a lot of collaboration, and you guys are doing this thing. I know there's others that do work together, but it's kind of exciting to have the work of two people.
Yeah, and it's nice, I think, to explore together and discover new techniques together. And we also have things we do a little separately. Then I go on the bay by myself, but then we do go out and shoot flowers and small things, and then collaborate on this.
Cool. What more do you guys have to show us?
Well, so maybe I'll show a few of my images from the bay.
Yeah.
And maybe then you can
do a little walk around.
Show you the actual studio so you can see.
My image may be, people may be seeing my image in the lower left-hand corner.
Oh.
Can you guys get rid of me or something?
How do I do it?
Move me out of the way.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
You're gone. Okay, so this is another set of images. We'll see them in person. Oh well, so there's a number of those gold leaf images here.
This also, we should tell people, like, when you see these things in person, it's going to be a different experience, right?
Yeah. They're really hard to photograph. It's hard to take a photograph of a photograph, especially these. The light just illuminates them when you see them in person. It's a different experience.
And then when you move around, the reflections change. So it's really hard to represent like on the screen.
So hopefully, I'm excited by seeing them right now, but I know, like, having gone last year and seen some of these works in person, it's just really, it's a great reason to go visit you guys at the studio.
So this is actually not an image from the kayak, but a lot of the birds that we see on the kayak, we can see on shore close by.
We were out at was it India Basin?
India Basin, yes.
We were out at India Basin walking along that beautiful trail that they have there. And also accessible. And this guy was just out in the shallows. The tide was pretty high. We weren't seeing a ton of birds that day, but then we saw this guy with the beautiful reflection.
It's a snowy egret, right? Am I right?
That's correct. Oh no, this is a great
egret.
I think this is a great egret. I'll have to check. But...
Is the difference that those feathers in the front, the long feathers?
I know the color of the bill tells you.
Yeah,
okay.
And I think the color of the legs as well. I think the snowy egret has yellow legs, and the great egret has black legs, I believe.
Sarah knows all this.
We love that one.
And then this is when a water is particularly calm in the morning, I love going all the way in the middle of the bay and going around those huge container ships, and especially when it's just daybreak. So the one on the left is right before sunrise, and then the one on the right, I think, is probably right after sunrise. So I love the morning light around those big ships, and the view back to the city and the bridge, the Bay Bridge in particular here.
What time of day would this have been taken?
I'm usually on the water around 6. So by the time I have paddled all the way to the ship, it's probably another 45 minutes. So close to 7 in the morning.
And so sometimes a year it's darker than, depending on what time of the year, whether we've gone into daylight savings time, it can be pretty dark at that hour.
Do you do it all year round, Manu?
Yes.
That must be in the winter, it must be a little chilly.
Yeah, it's not that much colder. Yeah, there's some days when it's, but you know, it's all about layers in San Francisco, whether you're on the water or not. So be
Plus, he
prepared.
works up a good heat paddling all the way out there.
And then we still do night photography. So we were actually in Australia a month and a half ago.
In Tasmania.
Tasmania, and we were kind of stuck waiting for the ferry back from a small island of the coast of Tasmania. And well, the best thing to do is take photos when we have nothing else to do. And this is the Milky Way, the southern hemisphere Milky Way, and the two patches of light on the right, fuzzy patches are, well, this is an actual cloud, but the other ones are the Magellanic clouds, which are two galaxies that are very close to ours, to the Milky Way. So you see them only in the southern hemisphere. You cannot see them here.
Yeah, the night sky is very different down there with the Southern Cross and other constellations that we don't see in the northern hemisphere. It's really, really beautiful.
How long was the exposure for this?
This is fairly short because if you go past maybe 30 seconds, you start seeing the star trail, the trails of the star because of the rotation of the Earth. So when we want a sharp image of the Milky Way and the stars, it has to be 15 to 30 seconds, depending on how wide or what kind of lens you have, but generally very short.
I see one line, a diagonal line in there. Is that other than
there's a number of lines, and those are satellites. You can see one here, like you just noticed, and then several others around here.
Occasionally, you'll catch a meteorite, but
those we can recognize as satellites. They have a different shape. They're white, and they're very straight, and they're very regular. The meteorites tend to have different colors, and then they tend to be kind of pointy at the end, so you can fairly easily recognize them as being different.
Do you guys are you familiar with Trevor Paglen and his works of satellites?
I'm not. No.
He's very interested in surveillance. He wants us to be aware of these satellites.
Oh yeah.
That are some of them are surveilling us.
Is he the one that I may have seen some of his? Yeah, does he do the little video showing them moving around?
I think so. He's been at SF MoMA, and he was a UC Berkeley
interesting
professor. He's a very interesting guy who does photography, but also he gets the Department of Defense mad at him.
Well, the astrophotographers are not very happy these days, in particular because of the
Starlink
high number of Starlink.
Yeah.
And very often you can see them, and they're very easy to spot. They're following each other, like 5 or 6, so you can see them very, very clearly. You can recognize the Starlinks very easily.
I just really like that image, and I
thank you.
The lines are just a fascinating part of it.
And we did not light the grass and the trees in that image. That was a helpful driver behind us waiting in line for the ferry who had their headlights on.
That's funny, because that is what you guys often do for some.
We do with flashlights and other things. Yeah, we do some lighting, but that one I think Manu was a little upset that the guy had his headlights on. He was afraid it was going to mess up the photo, but it actually turned out very nicely.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing about photography is it's just like really you're documenting some moment in time, and it isn't just what you plan to see, but also kind of a circumstance like that is part of it.
Yeah, I think it's especially true at night because you don't see the scene the same way the camera will see it. You don't see the colors the same way in particular.
Yeah, our eyes just can't take in that full range of color at night that the camera can.
Hello, Rodney.
Hey,
This is so stunning, huh? By the way.
Paco thinks vines
Earlier.
are stunning, and
Thank you, Paco.
Sorry, I'm so late because I was in the doctor's appointment.
Well, we're good. We're happy to have you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so
gonna
we
stop
definitely want.
We're gonna stop sharing.
sharing and go back to the
Yeah.
video and show the studio around a little bit.
Yeah,
Let's go take a look around the studio. This is
yeah.
744 Yosemite Place.
Do you want to twist?
Will be.
So, this is our studio space. It's very big, and then our studio mate Emily is on the other side of this studio. So let me switch the camera around so I can see what I'm doing here. Can I?
Not sure.
Uh-oh. Sorry, technical difficulty here. I'll just turn it around.
No, we
Okay.
are seeing stuff.
Okay, here we go. So this is a big wall of all the gold leaf pieces. You can see I've got a little bit of light on them there. There's some new ones that just came back from the framer, some little ones that I just made, and some other works there, some new ones over there on that part of the wall. And then around here is some of our night photography.
Oh, so you did some night photography on the Embarcadero.
Yeah, that was in a show that was at the Ferry Building. It's that's from the water. Manu did from the kayak very early in the morning when the lights were still on. It's a very nice image of the Embarcadero, and it was in a big show at the Ferry Building. And I'll show you. They made a huge banner of it that was hanging in the Ferry Building. And then down this wall is some more of the big ships.
It's like, excuse me, it looks like a container ship, Greta.
Yeah, he paddles all the way out there to the middle of the bay and takes photos of the container ships. Rodney, you recognize that image of the heron there?
I do.
And then here is some of the backs of the container ships, like we were showing on the screen earlier. It's really nice. And he's going to have some more of those, some newer ones. There's some photos from Greece that we did at night. There's the big, we're framing and getting stuff ready for Open Studios, so it's a busy time. There's the big banner that we had from, can you see that?
Huh?
So
Yes.
that's a banner on fabric that they made for the show at the Ferry Building. And then there's some images, the Golden Gate Bridge, some other things. We've got lots of matted and framed images around. We haven't decided exactly what we're going to show. This is an old studio camera that we just bought at an antique store. We hope to get working and do some studio work with that.
Do you have to create plates to?
Yes, and we don't yet know how to do that, but we understand there's some people making plates for it, and we're going to consult with actually Don's partner, Guy Campbell, has an interest in old cameras and photography, and so he is going to come and visit and help us figure out how to get that working, maybe.
I have a question, excuse me. Where is that studio, Rita?
It is Yosemite Pl, 1777 Yosemite Avenue in Bayview, in the Bayview neighborhood in San Francisco.
You could take the T, right?
Yeah, it's just about 2 blocks off of 3rd Street.
Interesting.
And these guys, you guys are going to let me know how ADA accessible the building is.
Yes, I will. I will find out from the building owners what the path of travel is to get in.
Yeah, I'll put that in my email for folks who want to. And then I'm hoping to schedule a time. Maybe I'll put that in my email too, to go meet up. Maybe we'll all, some of us from Art Viewing Adventures will make a plan to visit. Oh, what is the Schnetzlers website? Good question, Gail. Do you guys want to put that in the chat?
Yeah, unfortunately, the website is not the best updated version. So I would say I'm gonna put it down there, but Instagram and Facebook are probably better places, and Schnetzler Photography at either, sorry, I'm typing at the same time, either on Instagram or Facebook. You'll find more of our recent work there.
Yeah, and then maybe I'll do this again real quick, just for anybody who missed it. If you go into the ArtSpan website, you can easily get to, I think this is it. No, that's my thing. You can get to the artists. Is everyone? No one's looking at that. You can navigate to the artists Instagram. Also, I think there's a way to email you guys, right?
Yeah, it's photography@Schnetzler. I'll put it in there as well. If you have questions about scheduling or where we are or anything like that, feel free to send us an email.
If you go to artspan.org, maybe you guys can throw that in the chat. And then under artists, you can find, like, we'll find the Schnetzlers here. It's kind of it's in order by first name.
We're not in that list. This is just a selection. So, but if you look all the way at the bottom,
The very bottom, right?
The text
List, yeah.
Is it under you, Manu, or Greta?
It's under G, Greta and Manu. Yes.
So we can click on that.
So Gail, to your question about Marin County, this is San Francisco Open Studios. So we don't have artists, we don't have people outside of the San Francisco city.
Yeah, we would be open to showing in Marin County.
Yeah.
We've shown at the Tiburon
sorry,
Library.
Well,
I think, yeah, we were in a show at the Tiburon Library, which was really nice. And yeah, we're very open to showing Marin County.
yeah, that would be fun.
And then here's your Instagram, which I would recommend following these guys on Instagram.
Uh-oh, there's our new
Good
puppy.
dog.
Yeah,
That sneak in there.
yeah, this snug in there. We kind of keep separate the puppy photos from the photo side, but thank you, Gail. That would be lovely.
Yeah. Anybody else out there have questions for Greta and Manu?
Very beautiful pictures, Greta and Manu.
Thank you, Paco.
Well, I really want to thank you guys for coming on Art Viewing Adventures and talking about your photography and also the stuff going on with Open Studios. It's a very special time of the year. You know, I know they have a spring Open Studio also, but I think the fall is kind of the really, really big one.
It is the big one. That's the one that ArtSpan does. Individual locations do have spring Open Studios and also some holiday shows. So around the holidays, they'll do holiday shows with like a focus on smaller gift items and things like that.
So just to recap, we highly recommend that you visit the what do we call it, Soma Arts Gallery on Brennan Street, and they'll be having a reception on September the 19th. That's a Friday evening. Here's that event.
And then weekend one is kicking off that weekend. So the Saturday and Sunday after the opening, the art launch opening is weekend one.
So you guys have your homework, and I'll tell you that for Art Viewing Adventures, what I'm planning to do is visit a whole lot of artists and find some who I think your friend whose photography we were looking at earlier, I think I'm going to want to ask him, the one who's at the shipyards, but see who would like to do a program so that, you know, we can bring their art to you here on Art Viewing Adventures, because that's kind of what we're about. And Greta and Manu, you guys have just, I think, your third time back doing this with me. Always,
yeah.
You.
We always love it. We love talking to folks about ArtSpan, about our work and Open Studios. So we hope that all of you can at least take a tour of the online guide, and if you can get down to the exhibit or out to see some artists in their studio, even better. So, and maybe we'll see you. we hope to see you either
Yep.
Analog Gallery or at our studio at Yosemite
Well,
Place.
you're definitely gonna see me, maybe some others. And then, so in addition to like really appreciating you guys as art makers, Greta, you're on the board of ArtSpan, and I think you were telling me like it's the oldest organization of its type in the country.
Yeah, it's the oldest, longest running open studios event in the country. And it was created by artists for artists and has been run by, by and large by artists, volunteers on the board and volunteering on all the various committees, including the Open Studios Committee, for all these 51 years. So pretty amazing.
Amazing, and it may be by artists for artists, but it's also for those of us who loved art. Oh, Gail's asking, what are the dates of the Fall Open Studios? It's going to be September 20th to October 19th.
Yeah.
Actually, let me go back. I'll just show it one more time. My slide of the different weekends that will give you, that's a pretty good thing to be looking at. And then we'll wrap up with that. So here are, show my slide. Here are the different weekends. And there, there's gonna be great stuff every single one of these weekends, but I will call out weekend 2 is gonna be in kind of the Mission and Potrero Hill. And then weekend 4 is gonna be also Potrero Hill and Dog Patch. And these are places that have buildings with multiple artists. And to me, I just think that's really important to be able to see a whole bunch of different artists and find the ones that you truly connect with. Oh, and then weekend 5 is at the Naval Shipyard, which is
They have their own weekend because they're a whole compound of artists out there at the shipyard.
But I would say still, look at the guide, and if you can, go to the event on Brannan Street and find artists that you want to connect with and see more work of. And if they're not in a big group studio, still go visit them in their little studios. It's also super fun to go and just connect with one person in their own studio, even if there's not a huge number of artists around them. And it's you'll have great conversations and some good wine sometime as well.
And we started out showing in our little home studio.
Yep.
And that's how we got started with Open Studios. And this will be our 26th year of showing.
Wow. Well, that is how I met you guys. And I think we've given our people out there some great ideas for this upcoming Open Studio event. So thanks again. And look forward to seeing you guys in person and seeing your art in person.
Wonderful.
Great.
Thank you.
Hi, just me.
Mail you
And I
again.
have Richie.
Thank you, everybody.
We'll talk
everybody.
about that. So we're going to
Thanks,
turn it
everybody.
back to Nikki to tell us about Community Living Campaign. Nikki, please also mention the Richie Unterberger Boomer Music program that's going to happen tonight.
Oh, yeah, tonight at 6 o'clock, you can go online on our calendar and check out all his different programs. I'm not sure what he's featuring tonight because I don't.
I'll look it up real quick.
I don't have a calendar, but it's such a smash. I mean, he has so many people coming to hear him because of all the history and anecdotes that he has right at his fingertips. He's amazing. And we'll be back with Rodney on the 22nd, and that's right at the beginning of Latino Heritage Month. So I don't know what
We
we're
do
planning
have
for
a
that.
program for that. We
That's
have
wonderful. Good.
Mexican photography in October, I believe. Richie's doing what's called Before They Were Famous. It'll be clips of music stars from who are famous, but from before the time they were famous. Does need to be said, Richie was our last guest. We were talking about a different photographer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him. His name is Paul McCartney. Also known things beyond photography. He apparently had a career outside of photography too.
I wish I had seen that. I missed that one.
Oh,
darn.
great to see you, Nikki.
Thank you, Paco. Great to see everybody. I really love the show today. I love those photographs of the bay. I love the water. I love the bay. I love San Francisco, being a native. My grandfather had a lot to do with shipping in the 40s in the bay. So all that touched home with me.
Please come visit a studio.
Yeah, I
Yep.
think I will try and do that. I would really
Right.
glad. Yeah, I come out to that neighborhood now and then. Thank you.
Very good.
Good. Well, best wishes to everybody.
Thanks,
Oh,
everyone.
great
you.
to see
Everybody.
Greta and Manu.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thanks, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Jennifer. Thank you.
Bye, Rodney. See you
Bye,
tonight.
thank you.
I look forward